building, it might take 2 years to get past the voter, for the voters to pass it. I'm sorry if I used the wrong word.
May I answer too, Madam Chair?
Yes.
Mr. Goslin, I'd just like to apologize for you to have to ask these questions because they were not presented in a discussion that we should have had up here and explained these things and why they were good, or we felt they were good or bad or whatever, that people are having to come and ask questions. So I apologize.
Well, I know there's a lot going on. It's just a question I had asked of Pinkerton. I just wanted to bring it back up just in case to see what they had on the table. So thank you.
Is there anyone else from the public that would like to address the Hudson School Board?
Yes, Marco Lacassagan on Joanne Drive. So we could have voted on a tuition agreement with Pinkerton tonight with a minimum of 75 with no restrictions. Is that correct?
We did. This
No,
board,
we voted on the 10-year contract tonight.
it was we voted on our tuition agreement and an enrollment agreement. The enrollment agreement is if the tuition agreement doesn't pass the warrant article. We voted on both of them this evening. So it's going on a warrant article for the voters to decide.
But we could have denied the agreement and just gone with the, no.
No.
They're part and parcel to each other. So the idea is we're trying to get a tuition agreement together, and the other one relies on that. You can't have one without the other.
It's a safety net in case.
Oh, I understand it's a safety net.
They will not accept the students on simply an MOU or a tuition agreement.
So if this fails in March, these kids that apply at Pinkerton, and let's say you have 75, let's say you have 50, you still have to supply 75 if it goes the other way.
Yes, we do.
But you're out of the opt-out though, for 1 year. And then you're discussing a contract maybe another year down the road or whatever. Or hopefully you stay in that MOU type or agreement discussion, and it just goes that way from there on out.
Yes, Mr.
The actual agreement, it's a safety for the kids that go to Pinkerton. If they start there this year, they're going to continue all the way through. They're guaranteed with that second agreement. So the kids that go, the 8th graders that go this year, no matter what happens at the vote, Pinkerton has said you're going to be able to finish out at Pinkerton. That's good for the kids.
Right, right. It's just interesting. It's going to be interesting March, that's for sure. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to address the Hudson School Board?
My name's Tom Parnell. I live at 2 Barbary Street. I didn't make the early part of the meeting, so I don't know what was said, and I apologize if I'm going to be repeating anything. But as a community member, I'm appalled with some of the behavior that I'm seeing here, some of the words and the obscene language that I'm seeing in the public domain. It's more like the town square. Facebook has become a part of the town square, and we have members of this noble board participating and speaking in what is disgusting language. I think we have members of the board using the words of calling a community member, accusing them of having early onset Alzheimer's. That's offensive to me. I have friends and family members that have suffered from that, and I think that you owe people who are dealing with that an apology. And this is condescending and offensive. And I wish you would increase or step up to the level that we expect for a member of this board. It's completely offensive. You should be ashamed of yourself.
You should too, sir.
Please don't.
What I ask is that we move beyond, because you'll be surprised to hear what I have to say next. I think that school choice is a noble directive, a noble area for this school board to move to. I'm actually surprised that the rest of you didn't reach out to the olive branch that these gentlemen extended. I think that that was a great compromise. I'm starting to see a level of dysfunction that's unfortunate. I thought that was a great compromise. I think we got our Pinkerton contract. I think it was a great strategic plan. What's failing here, in my opinion, is this board has failed to be strategic. And any efforts that are pushed out there to try to be strategic have been shot down. So let's put the mudslinging aside and let's try to work on this, because what we have now is we're going to be faced with This March is gonna come, and if we continue the mudslinging, this town is gonna be torn apart, and this will not pass, and we'll be in trouble. So what I ask is that we try to find a way to work through come together and come up with a solution so that this can work. Listen, the school choice idea, I'm behind you. I think it's a great thing. We just didn't have a year 1 year is not enough. We didn't have the legislative infrastructure to support it. We didn't have any of there was no strategy involved in it. So you can't expect it to pass in a year. It failed. What we have now is we have this Pinkerton contract. Let's embrace that. Let's work together to get that thing pushed through. Let's make it so that it doesn't fail, and let's move on. And then in the next 10 years, the next 5 years, we can explore the school choice. That might work. Thank you.
Thank you,
Your
Mr.
year's
Parnell.
worth of comments precede you, sir. I have them all documented. They precede you. You started with mudslinging tonight. Don't accuse me of mudslinging.
One thing I'd like to say that I was going to refrain from, to have a member of a public board say to a community member, you remind me of a gnat around a urinal, and I'm going to piss on you and enjoy it, is offensive and beyond. I can't even imagine. I go to work and people laugh at me because I live in Hooksett, and I have someone like you representing me.
Could have taken your words out of context and brought them in tonight. I didn't, Tom, but I may in the
Mr. Liscard.
I piss on you.
Thank you. That's a nice comment. Why don't you write it down and stand behind it like I do?
I just did.
No, you didn't write it down. You yelled it. See, you can get away with it and say, oh, you misinterpreted my words.
Mr. Parnell.
Write it down.
I need a motion.
I already gave a motion.
We are adjourned after public input at 8:29.
Madam Chair, we
Number
didn't
7.
vote to adjourn.
Yes, he did. His
I put-
motion was
put
to
the
move
motion out
public
there.
input and to adjourn.
Mr. Liscard, you owe this community, and you owe everybody an
You owe yourself an apology. You got that, Tom? I've been putting up with your crap for a year, and I'm not putting it up anymore. David, you want to take me to the parking lot like you did in Londonderry?
Oh, you're so cool.
I don't put up with your baloney, okay, folks? If you want to smoke the new people here, go ahead. You're not smoking me. You're not smoking anybody else.